Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose, where I strategize with business owners on how to grow and scale their businesses to hit their income goals. This is episode 334 of the Influencer Entrepreneurs Podcast with Jenny Melrose. Today, we're going to be talking about your business elevator pitch and how you can become more confident with that, while we also make sure that we give you an exercise that is going to help you create it. So if you haven't already grabbed our free workbook, make sure that you do. You can go to jennymelrose.com/book and grab that free workbook, as well as grab the book that all of these previous episodes that the series has been about are based upon and coming from. All right, so let's dive into this. The biggest misstep I see for the majority of my clients is that they can't clearly and concisely tell me what they do. They fall over their words or are extremely vague, so much so that it leaves me with more questions than when we started. Your elevator pitch should tell me what you do and who you do it for. Often, if you're not clear on the who, then you don't know your avatar. Now, I'm not talking about a blue creature from a movie or the guy you chose in a video game. An avatar is the one person that you are speaking to in your content. It is their problem that you are solving. When you create your avatar, you want it to be as close to a real person as possible. What does that actually mean? Simply put, you are creating a person from scratch. You'll need to give your person a name, decide what their occupation is and how old they are. You also want to develop their family status. Are they married? Do they have kids? Are they a stay-at-home parent, or do they work full-time? Part of creating your avatar is knowing who your current audience is. If your audience is 65% women and 35% men, you want to create a female avatar, not because you don't care about the male readers, but because you want to speak to the majority of your audience. You also want to decide on the income level of your avatar. Their income level matters because when you begin creating products or using affiliate links, you need to know what they can afford to spend. If your avatar is a stay-at-home mom with a lower middle class income, you don't want to have a bunch of Pottery Barn affiliate links. You need to know what they can afford to spend so that you know what to create and what to share. The next thing to ask is, which social media platform does she use on a regular basis? The best way to find this information is by looking at the analytics of your website. Google Analytics provides data on your website that shows you the age, gender, and general location, like state or country, as well as what content from your site they're coming to see and from which social media platform they're coming from. You can also see which platform you get the most engagement on in your insights, comments, or direct messages on those platforms. It's important to have a business account on each of the social media platforms so that you have access to the data that each platform provides. Being an influencer entrepreneur requires you to treat your business like a business. So it should be common sense that you would want business accounts on all of the platforms. Your data will help inform your decisions. Lastly, and most importantly, what are your goals and values? What does she want from her life? What are the problems that keep her from getting there? And how can you help her solve them? Once you know her problem that you solve, it is much easier to write your elevator pitch. When you can confidently tell someone what you do and who you do it for, it's like listening to a guy sing at karaoke who knows he can sing well, compared to the guy that doubts his voice and holds back. The guy who doubts himself makes us feel uncomfortable, and we're more likely to talk over him and continue our conversation with our friends rather than listen to him. Meanwhile, the guy who believes in his voice is going to grab our attention, and we'll be fine with continuing our conversation after he's done performing. Confidence is a mindset that we often exude from our bodies without trying. The way that we carry ourselves and stand when we're talking can often say a lot about our belief in ourselves and the value that we provide others with. When our words have confidence in them because we know the purpose that we serve, it can make the difference in having a new client and not, or a new audience and not. So really figuring out what that business elevator pitch is going to be consisting of is going to be important. But prior to doing that, you have to know your avatar. And when we talk about avatar, you don't have to know exactly where she shops or anything, what kind of things she has in her house. What you're looking to do is know the person that you are talking to, have that ideal person. And like I said in the beginning, you ideally want it to be someone that probably is in your life that probably got you excited about creating the content that you're creating because they ask questions about how to eat better, as in you're that nutritionist that's able to create that content for them. Or they're asking you all the time how to decorate their house so that it looks less cluttered, whatever it might be. Look at that person that has come to you can very much be your avatar of who you're creating that content for, because often we created something because it was asked over and over again. That's always how we know that we needed a product or service that spoke to those people, because those questions continually, routinely came back up. That was how my signature course, Pitch Perfect Pro, came to be created. I routinely was getting asked the same questions as after speaking at conferences. How many followers do I need to have? How do I pitch? What should my email consist of? How do I find the right person to pitch? All of those questions I put into Pitch Perfect Pro, but it was because I was getting those questions from my audience. And there was one person in particular that I created my avatar based upon her, so that every time I create content, whether it is a book, whether it is a course, whether it is a blog post or podcast episode, I'm thinking of her. I'm writing my emails to her because I understand the problems that she has, because she was a personal friend that I knew in real life that would routinely ask me questions. So I was able to imagine her as I would create my content. And it ideally is why I get emails often from people responding to me saying, "Are you in my house? How did you know that that's the exact question I had? How did you know I was feeling that way?" Well, it's because she was, or she still is. And therefore I'm creating my content for her. So when you are looking at creating that business elevator pitch, take your avatar and then know who it is that you are speaking to, with what problem you solve and who it's for. There's a great exercise in the free workbook called Stranger on a Plane. It is one of my favorite exercises to do with people. You definitely want to make sure that you download it. It's a different way of looking at it by asking a question and then answering with your elevator pitch. And you're the one asking the question. All right, you guys, if you haven't already grabbed the workbook, go over, grab it, jennymelrose.com/book. Otherwise, if you haven't left a rating and review, I would so appreciate it if you did so. Just scroll down. You're going to see the spot for rating and review. Leave me a real quick one. It just helps me to continue to get great guests on the show. All right, until next time, I will see you all then.